What do you see as the business value outcomes that Fidelity is driving towards the digital transformation journey?
Yeah, good question. Instead, we have been very focused on transformation of end-to-end customer journeys. And as part of it, the business benefits or the value gets delivered in multi-pronged ways. So first, I would say definitely on client experience and operational efficiency. And in my view, they all go hand in hand. Generally, when there's friction on the client experience side, there is friction in the operation side. But how we have been focusing on measuring our client satisfaction, client experience, scale, capacity, cycle time, straight through processing, a lot of those things in the space of client experience and operational efficiency. That's one. Second, I would say growth or retention of existing customers and revenue, and how we optimize these journeys, whether prospecting journeys, or onboarding journeys, or servicing journeys, to make sure that either we retain our customers or revenue, but also increase. I think that's a measure we focus heavily on, depending upon the journey we're kind of investing in. I think beyond these are traditional kind of business value measures, but I would say there are a couple of other things that come very handy. One, focusing on agile capabilities and the talent and the culture. I think that's also a key value that comes out of this kind of transformation, that we move out of the old way of working and really focus on how to be much more agile. We have the right talent, the right capabilities to really have continuous delivery of value going forward. And then the last thing I would say is really focus on long-term transformation. If you're a legacy company, yes, we can do incremental enhancements. Yes, they're important, but they're not going to move the needle. I think that's a learning from this digital transformation, that you got to think about long-term and how to get there. And that kind of mindset shift happens when you think about transformation. It doesn't happen when you think about just incremental improvements. So I see that is an intangible benefit, even though you can't really measure, but I see, that will take the organization the right path for a long period of time.
Excellent. I appreciate that, Deba. One of the things that you mentioned on, and I agree with you, agile and talent development. And you'd also mentioned earlier on that, new technologies. During the digital transformation process, organizations have been applying new age technologies. Could you share with us some of the new age solutions or technologies and the benefits they're providing to Fidelity?
Yeah, sure. So I would say, obviously we are applying a lot of technologies. I think probably most organizations do, right? Whether it is digital capabilities, CRM capabilities, artificial intelligence, robotics, data integration, data exchange, cloud capabilities, workflow orchestration. I think all those things are in play. But I would say it's more than applying technologies, right? I think the key is the value gets delivered when you actually can combine these and apply them in the right business context. I think in our goals, in my personal goals, I'm much more focused on application of technology rather than the technology itself. An application of technology to really deliver either client experience or operational efficiency or both, or revenues. And that's the hard part, right? I think, to be honest, applying technology is a lot easier, but really applying them the right way on the right business problem and delivering business value has been our focus. So I would say definitely we're interested in all the different new cool technologies, but focus definitely is heavily on how to apply them to drive either business or client value.
You're right, absolutely right. Business has really no benefit unless it is applied to a business challenge or business solution. Another question that comes up is that a key focus of many organizations, and you mentioned it, is to simplify, digitize, and radically transform the client experience. Obviously, this is a focus area within Fidelity. Could you give us an approach of, how are you progressing? Like, or do you talk about the long transformation, but if you were to sort of say in a timeline of X, we're about 30%, 60%. So where are you? How are you progressing in this on these areas?
Yeah, good question. It's hard to say put a percentage on a question like this, but I would say in few areas where we think about applying these capabilities, right? So I'm focused on much more B2B customer journeys. So how do we digitize our prospecting and relationship journeys? How do we, let's say, digitization of our client onboarding process, digitization of our ongoing servicing process, application of AI on the core capabilities we're actually using this for, application of our internal workflow orchestration and all. So I think those are the areas we're applying this much more on the end-to-end focus. It's hard to say what we're in the transformation journey because I think this is still a journey, and there are always new things coming. Every 2 years, new technologies coming. So you kind of have to think and operate that way. To be honest, when I think about the transformation, we always focus on solving for the future, not solving for the past problems, because it takes time. It takes 3 to 5 years to actually make meaningful transformation. And by the time you actually get there, there will always be some new technologies.
Yeah.
There will be new challenges. So we got to think ahead, and that's what we focused on. How to think about the future problems, not necessarily the problems that we have seen, let's say 5 years back. Yes, they're important, but it is much more important to be forward-looking in all these areas.
So just a last question, because I'm noticing the time here, Deba, but one of the questions we'd like to ask our data leaders is if you've made any aha moments that would make you rethink the approach to digital transformation?
Yeah, good question. So I don't think I have a particular aha moment, but a key learning, right? Not learning, but I think maybe a validation. And my advice will be digital transformation is a long game. So it's important to make sure that you're focused on the right problem. You're focusing on end-to-end customer journeys. You're focusing on delivering early wins. You're constantly focusing on execution. Because here's the thing, creating a lot of ideas for transformation is easy. It's a lot easy, a lot in control. Getting those things done, especially if you're in legacy tech stack, legacy culture or processes, is extremely hard. So make sure you set realistic expectations. And this takes time. So play the long game and prepare accordingly, then you'll succeed. If you oversell this and not approach this appropriately, things will fall off. We'll keep changing and swirling and you'll not succeed. So important to understand that it's a long game and play accordingly.
You heard it from Deba, play the long game. Well, Deba, I'd really like to thank you for your time today. We really do appreciate it. Hopefully we can get the chance to come back and do this again.
Awesome. Thank you, Robert, for inviting me. I really appreciate the opportunity.
No, you're welcome. And for our listeners, please visit the CDO magazine for additional interviews. Thank you.